G'day everyone, military industrial organisations are a new change coming with the Arms Against Tyranny DLC, and they allow you to customise the bonuses that your equipment gets from what used to be your designers. I've been having a great time learning how to use them, and luckily for you, I'm here to teach you all about it so that way you can get to war profiteering in no time.
We sell by the kilo.
They're second-hand weapons, but they're still okay.
Before we get started, I do need to let you know that you will of course need the Arms Against Tyranny DLC, so if you don't have it, these features won't appear for you. If you do have the DLC already though, let me know in the comments which country you've been enjoying playing the most. Alrighty, so first things first, you can view your MIOs in the political tab under the research and production area here. You'll start the game with at least one MIO for each of the categories, so that's your armor, navy, aircraft, and infantry equipment or artillery. Even as a country with just a generic tree, you'll have at least one in each of these options. And some nations, such as the Scandinavian feature countries or other majors, they might have multiple options for you to choose from. You level up MIOs by using the new XP called funds. And no, don't worry, there's not an economy system being built into the game. It's just what they've called the MIO XP. So when you click on the details section of one of the MIO lines here, you can see the current experience level in the top left here in the pop-up. Once you reach a level, you gain a trait, which you can then assign to one of the upgrade perks, which you can see here on the right-hand side. Hovering over the different perks, you can see the tooltip pop up, and that will show you the bonuses that they provide. You can also see which perks are prerequisites for some of the more advanced ones further down the tree, as denoted by these dotted lines and the solid lines. We'll go over the bonuses a bit more later, but right now you're probably wondering how to get these funds /XP. Well, like pretty much anything in Hoi 4, you gain the XP through using the thing that you're trying to gain XP for, if that makes sense. In this case, it's the MIO. So you can apply them to a production line in your production tab. When you create a new line, it will appear as an option here. You can click on the available MIOs to have that apply, or you can continue and produce without an MIO. Otherwise, just choose the option that does appear, and then your production line will now have this goldish hue and the little cogs in the background, and you can see the icon pop up here next to the efficiency bar. You can add, change, or remove an MIO to or from an existing line by clicking on this MIO icon, or alternatively, this little wrench with the plus next to it. Once you click on that, you can either change the existing MIO, or you can add one into a production line that doesn't currently have one. Doing so this way, rather than deleting the line and creating a new one, means that you'll keep your production efficiency. It's important to note that this alone won't apply the bonuses to the equipment that's being produced by that production line. There's still one more step to do, which is to open up the equipment menu and then find the type of equipment that you want to apply the MIO bonus to, and then click on the Create Variant button here. In the bottom left of this pop-up, you can see the Add MIO button here. Then you'll get another pop-up box, and you can choose which MIO that you want to apply, and therefore what bonuses are going to apply to this equipment variant. Obviously, if you hover over them, you'll see the tooltip as usual. Once you click that, all you need to do is come over here and pay the XP fee, and then you now have created a variant with those bonuses applied. You can go back to your production line and just update the variant as well, again, to maintain most of your production efficiency. And the MIO icon will show up just below the production rate here to show you that it has been applied, and that's the variant that you're using. If you upgrade the MIO at any point, you will need to create an updated variant and change the production line again to have the new bonus applied. It'll cost 5 XP each time, so it's worth waiting until you have a significant bonus or a few traits invested before you upgrade. That being said, you can also have that process be pretty much done automatically by checking this item when you do assign a trait. It'll cost that 5 XP, and then you can just go to the production line and upgrade the equipment type. Also, as your MIO is applied to the production of equipment, whether it's a variant or not, it will gain XP or funds as more and more of that equipment is produced. So if we go here to, let's say, look at Husqvarna, for example, and we hit play, as it's producing infantry equipment, we can see that the funds is going up and up. You can also gain funds through certain focuses, or through my personal favorite, research. You might have noticed in your research tab, but some of the icons look a little bit different. Any tech that can be boosted by an MIO is shown with the little flask here that you can see on the bottom left corner of any of the research icons.
One of these. No, this is a volumetric flask. You wouldn't cook in one of these.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
All you need to do is select a research tech, click on the research button, and then choose the MIO options that appears. For the small cost of 0.1 political power per day, you'll not only have a 5, 10, or 15% research boost, but also a substantial fat stack of funds upon completion, meaning you can level up your MIOs and gain bonuses much faster. If you're playing a nation with the political power to spare, it's definitely worth taking advantage of these research boosts. Back in the political menu, where you can see all the MIO options, there's a bit of information here that's worth knowing. Hovering over the MIO will show you the tooltip with the current bonuses and effects. You can see which equipment types the MIO can be applied to based on these symbols here. For example, the Bosporus MIO can be applied to artillery, anti-tank, anti-air, or rocket arty. You can also see the levels of each MIO as denoted by the little rank ribbon looking thing here. And then the details button will always open up the details as it as it says, and you can see whatever perks have been applied here. Once you open up the details, you can see the attributes on the left, so that's going to include the research bonus, the cost to assign a design team to a particular research, the design team change cost, so when you're adding your MIO to a particular equipment type, as well as the types of equipment that this can be applied to, as well as the bonuses. At the bottom, you also have policies, which if you click on, you can see that these are extra bonuses and traits that you can assign after your MIO goes past level 5. Again, this only costs a small amount of political power, and given that you'll be reaching that level with your MIOs later in the game, it's certainly worth taking advantage of some of these depending on your playstyle. On the right, you have your available traits, and these can range from anything like a soft attack and reliability increase, bonus to hard attack, increasing the production efficiency gain, and even making your equipment cheaper to produce. Some options will lock you out of the other paths, so you do kind of need to be a bit selective and choose the traits based on your playstyle. So take some time to have a read through all of the traits and see what bonuses they give, and then sort of cater that depending on how you're going to play your game. Some of the more common sort of traits that you see are things like this, where it's an increase in stats like your soft attack and breakthrough for a reduction in efficiency gain, or even going the opposite way where your efficiency gain is increased for more equipment, but the stats themselves are reduced. Another cool thing is the history tab here, right next to the traits, where you can see the amount of equipment that you've produced of each type and each variant, as well as any design changes that this type of equipment has undergone as well. So you can see here that we've made almost 10,000 of the old type of equipment and almost 1,500, 1,200 of the new type. This doesn't really impact your gameplay that much, but it can be an indication if you feel like upgrading your previous equipment, then you can sort of see if it's worth doing that or not. If you've only got a couple of hundred, why bother? But if there's a significant amount and you're not at war, you have the production to spare, it might be worth going through and sort of upgrading all that previous old equipment. Speaking of which, if you do want to convert your old equipment to the new equipment type, all you have to do is come into your production line and click on this convert by stockpile or convert from stockpile button down in the bottom left here. You can see that it won't use any resources because all you're doing is upgrading the equipment you already have. And then when you hit play, it will basically go through at your standard rate, upgrading using those factories. Obviously, you're not going to be producing any new equipment during this time frame, so just keep that in mind. All in all, after playing the new DLC for a little bit, I would say that my thoughts on the MIOs are, I've been pleasantly surprised. It does seem a little complicated initially when you're looking at it, but honestly, once you sort of have a bit of a playthrough, it is quite simple and straightforward, and you can kind of ignore it if you really want to. It would just be the same as not really assigning designers in the standard base game, which you can get away with doing, no worries. You can see as well, not very far into the game, a little bit into the game, but like by sort of 1942, 43, I've already got some pretty significant bonuses and levels on some of these MIOs. And a lot of this has just been through sort of basic production and research. Playing as nationalist Spain, ignore the Navy stuff I'm doing. But you can see already, for example, with my infantry equipment, it's already giving me almost a 10% bonus to soft attack, a bit of extra reliability and breakthrough, hard attack and piercing. If we jump over to our artillery, for example, our artillery is getting an extra 10% breakthrough, as well as some pretty good bonuses to the production of it. So, these things all do stack up. Even, for example, you can add them onto support companies, which is something you never used to be able to do before, to reduce the amount of resources that you need. Some nations that's going to be more helpful than others. If we have a look at our aircraft, look at that, 15% bonus to our agility and speed, as well as a bit of extra range, increasing our production. So yeah, definitely worth taking the time to have a bit of a read through and invest in, especially if you enjoy the Navy like me. 15% extra armor. There's one of these as well, I think this one, which will give me AA bonuses. Maybe that hasn't come through yet. Yeah, here we go. It just hasn't been applied to the new production lines. But yeah, in any case, I've been pleasantly surprised with how the MIOs are and how sort of easy they are to manage. The pop-ups will appear, prompting you to go in and like upgrade the equipment. And then all it is a matter of just making sure that you don't have any outdated variants in your production lines, which you get a pop-up for that as well. So it's kind of easy to manage. But yeah, anyway, hope that makes sense for you guys and it helps you out. Let me know what you think in the comments, if you think this is a good change, a bad change, if you need to play it a bit more. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, and thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.